Jeff.
And I'm Jay.
Welcome to Arguably Correct.
All right. Today we're going to be talking about, I guess, I don't know, is it euthanasia or is it just assisted suicide? Is there a big
seems
difference?
like they keep euthanasia in the realm of animals for some reason. I don't hear it referred to in human beings much.
It took me a long time.
Assisted suicide is what they call it.
It took me a long time to figure out why everybody's talking about these kids in Asia.
The euthanasia.
Yeah. Until I looked it up and I was
that's
like,
got to be a band name, right?
It has to be.
I would think so.
I would hope so.
So we're going to put that one right up there with toilet seat babies. Euthanasia.
Euthanasia.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a band called... If there's not, there's a huge missed opportunity.
We are the euthanasia.
Oh, we could do that all day.
That's terrible.
It is terrible. It's a serious subject. We're going to probably make light of it at times, so, don't be butthurt here.
That's what we do. You got to be able to laugh about everything, I guess.
You got to be arguably correct.
All right. Well, I argue that assisted suicide should be completely legal.
I think you're wrong.
Get the fuck out.
Thanks for listening to Arguably Correct.
This episode is over. We should do that one time. Just release a 2-minute troll episode with like 35 minutes of silence behind it. And then at the end be like, are you still listening?
Yeah, why?
So yeah, I'm all for it. I think Jack Kevorkian was onto something. I mean, besides the fact that he named one of my favorite bands, well, one of my favorite bands named themselves after him.
What kind of need do you think is out there for such a thing?
Well, for instance, in my personal life, if I ever had stage whatever cancer,
okay,
and when we get to that point, we're like, all right, they're sending hospice in, and you're done, and all you're gonna do at this point is just wither away. You're gonna be in and out of consciousness. You're just done. There's no cure. There's no, and hope is over. So I'm not gonna sit through that. I'll OD myself.
Who determines hope is over?
The patient, the person.
Yeah.
If I had, and I would fight as long as you could. But like I said, there's always a time when I think everybody knows. Maybe not everybody. I'm sure some people are holding on to the very last day. But I think I've seen enough people go through that. I wouldn't want to go through it. And once they're like, all right, treatment's pretty much not working. It's getting worse. The cancer is spread everywhere. They basically just send you home to die.
So clearly you've thought about this.
Yeah.
So are there any limitations that you would put on this? Is there some kind of delineation between, do you have to be clearly marked for terminal disease? You're going to die in 6 months versus die in 5 months versus die in 4 years. Is there a line?
Hunter S. Thompson, one of my favorite
authors.
Hunter S.
Why don't you kind of fill in people that might not know who Hunter S. Thompson is?
Come on, they got the Google. He's an author.
Yeah.
Wrote a lot of books, wrote a lot of articles.
Okay.
Fear and Loathing, all that. Fear and Loathing Las Vegas, Fear and Loathing, all that was him.
Okay.
Kind of an icon, I guess, back in the day. But anyway, I love his work, and he was a guy who just one day went, you know what, just done. I've done it all. I'm just, and I guess he had some health issues. I don't know exactly what they were, but he just went to a study and shot himself in the head. Game over. And it wasn't because he was depressed or sad or, nobody left him. He was just done. He just had a shit to give. He was just done. And I don't necessarily find a problem with that. I mean,
I don't know. We both, and at least know people who have committed suicide.
Yes.
It's seemingly, and supposedly you're not supposed to call it committed suicide, but for whatever.
It's what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. That have made that choice in their life that we all think was horrible.
Absolutely.
Right? So, isn't that kind of in the face of what you're saying here?
Well,
if they have terminal illness, you're saying just anybody, no matter what, should be able to...
Well, anybody
invoke
can.
the right of. But invoke invoke
that's
a physician to help them in their life.
The fact that suicide is illegal is kind of odd to me. Like, okay,
it's illegal here, and
I committed a crime. Yeah. Now what are you gonna do? Fucking nothing. I'm dead, stupid.
Well, I think it goes to if you commit a crime. So I think it has the insurance implications, right?
That's probably a thing. Yeah.
I don't know that for sure. I didn't look that up, but
I know
that'd be
that
my assumption.
If you kill yourself, you don't get your insurance.
Technically, yes, and I think that's the way they kind of get with that. It's like, no, they've committed a crime.
That's probably all it is. Yeah.
You can't, engage in insurance payout if you were in the commission of a crime.
And even though the people that I've lost to it, and I don't understand why they did it. And of course, it hurt me, and I didn't. I'm still hurt by it, and angry, and all the other feelings everybody has when that happens to somebody that they know. But at the same time, isn't it everybody's right to choose whether or not they want to live?
It's their right, yeah. But why as a society should we make it easier for them to do so with the help of a physician? Excuse me.
I think it would be easier on them. For instance, right now, if I were to get, cancer, and if I was going through all that.
Again, you're going with the cancer thing.
Or
people that we lost.
No.
They didn't have that.
No.
And Hunter S. Thompson didn't have that.
And we're going from, he was sick. I just don't know what he had. But I mean, it wasn't like he had hospice in there or whatever. And I don't know how far that goes. But as far as, do you have to be terminally ill? Do you have to be whatever? I'm saying specifically for the terminally ill people, I think that it should be an option. The assisted suicide of a terminally ill patient should be allowed. How far that goes down that slope, I don't know. But we should at least start there and see where it goes.
I mean, they kind of do it now, right? I mean,
not really.
I'm saying if you get to that point, they give you a high dose of morphine and make, quote unquote, the proverbial make you comfortable.
Exactly.
And that's what they do and allow the body to
But now you're just process. A comfortable vegetable while your family has to sit there and deal with you, while they're wiping your ass and you're just wasting away into nothing. You're barely awake. From the people I've experienced that have cancer, they're sitting there barely awake. They're not the same person, and that's your lasting memory of them. That's the last thing.
It shouldn't be. No, but you have a choice not to be.
But it's such a haunting image. It sticks with you.
It does.
And usually that's the first thing I think of about my grandparents or whoever I know that have gone through that, and then I have to go back to that one time at Christmas it was, and you just start thinking of the good memories. But the first one that usually comes back is that. The one that had the most impact on you, which is like, holy shit, she looks terrible.
So let's say we draw a line in the sand and say, yes, it's legal, but here are the conditions. No matter when you draw the line in the sand, there's always going to be somebody just briefly on the other side of that line that isn't considered. And I think that's where the big controversy comes, is to narrow it down, to define it, and not just make it a free-for-all, so to speak. Is the problem. I mean, it becomes a slippery slope. Once you start opening up that avenue, then who can, who can't? Not to mention the people who have to, administer probably I would imagine it'd be some kind of narcotic.
I'm sure.
That's the way they would do it.
But and again, for me, if I was to get sick now, I'd have to go score something that would do me in, because I wouldn't know.
So it becomes legal. Okay. Let me postulate this. It becomes legal.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say, your spouse, someone's spouse becomes incapacitated to the point where they can't make that decision, but you have power of attorney.
Too late. Nope.
Too late. What do you mean too late?
It's got to be just like
organ
donors.
It has to be the individual's choice.
Correct.
Yeah,
you can't. I don't think that. No, I don't think family members should have.
So I think one of the bigger arguments is if I have Alzheimer's or some kind of dementia, mentally debilitating disease, those seem like the perfect candidates for assisted suicide, in a sense. Like, they aren't who they are, who they were.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, but you can't. They're not right. They can't make that decision for themselves.
Just like organ donor or anything else, you have to get yourself and your own life affairs in order.
So you're saying you could leave it in a living will testament that says, if I get this.
Why couldn't you?
I don't know. I mean,
if I end up like this,
the nuts and bolts of the high level conversations seems fairly simple. Should you? Shouldn't you? Yes. However, it seems like the minutia, you drowned in it.
Okay, well, there's a line in the sand right now for whether or not you can receive hospice care. I can't, just because I don't feel good one day, be like, hey, I need some hospice in here taking care of me. It's for terminally ill patients. So doctors already have a way of saying, you're terminally ill, you're going to get hospice care. I can't stub my toe and have hospice come in and help me out, or break a leg, or, that's not what they're there for.
I am understanding that there is hospice care for people who aren't terminally. I have heard of it happening. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know what the caveat is there, but.
Let's go with the terminally ill portion of it. I mean, yeah, there's lines and all that, but I mean, a doctor and a patient and the hospice people and everybody else, they know when it is time. When they say, hey, we're giving up, now it's just a matter of making you comfortable. At that point, it's already there.
We already have it. So why expand it?
No, I'm not saying expand it, but at that point, you should then be able to say, I'm not fucking around with this anymore. Bring me in the medicine, put me out of misery. You could actually sit around while you still were fairly able-bodied and fairly of your right mind, and you could say goodbye to your friends and your loved ones and your family and everything, and then you could just, load up on your little cocktail and off you go to Sleepy Town, and that's that.
So it does exist in the United States at this point.
What does?
Assisted suicide.
It does?
As of 2016, there are a few states that allow it. 5 states in particular: Oregon, Washington, Montana, Vermont, and California.
I did not know that.
And a couple other countries, Canada being one. I didn't know that either until recently. Canada is a country that...
So it sounds like we're on the...
Canada, Colombia, Luxembourg, Belgium, Netherlands, as of 2016. So... In most of those countries, they don't report a huge increase in, people that want to commit suicide above the statistical average. And I think one of the things that comes to mind, and I jump on your side, is you have people that decide to take that into their own hands and do it improperly.
And then they fuck up.
And they have to live an even lesser existence after that. And that just sounds absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I'd rather have a doctor being like, no, that's just going to mess you up. This is going to do what you're looking to have done. And I don't know I'd have put more thought into it. Maybe I'm for expanding it to other areas. I don't know. Obviously suicide is an option that I don't think people should take. I think they should seek help if it's just a mental thing, if it's not something that's debilitating. And I know mental things can be debilitating as well. Depression, anxiety, all those things. Right, so
if you're in a depression and you're having that anxiety, are you in the state of mind to be able to make that kind of decision?
No, but you're making a decision for future. You're like, hey, I can't say...
Well, that'd be a bitch, though, right? You put that in a living will, and all of a sudden, you get there and like, wait a minute, I didn't want that. Like, but you're senile now. You can't really speak for yourself anymore. You already wrote it down when you were, of sound mind and body.
And I guess that would be a thing with the Alzheimer's where people may not. But again, like you said, if it's already legal in some places and there's not a spike in it, it's only for people like me who want the option and who would like to at that point say, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to sit here and waste away to 70 pounds.
I understand. I just get I get very leery of the slippery slope, and I understand that statistically speaking that hasn't happened in the countries that have allowed it.
It's still up to you. I don't think someone else should be able to say, well, he's got a cold. Let's put him down. But I think the implications there too with insurance. Can you have assisted suicide and will you still get your life insurance? Or do you have to sit there and suffer for 6 more months so they can make a little more interest on the money before they have to cut the check to your family?
I'll read a few statistics if you don't mind for a second.
Yeah, I can drink while you do this.
Public support of euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide in the United States has plateaued since 1990. Since the 1990s, ranged 47 to 69%. In Western Europe, an increasingly strong public support for euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide. It's funny that they distinguish those
weird.
Two. Yeah,
it's like we're not talking about the dog,
and I do know the difference.
Okay.
Now you say that, it reminded me. I listened to this the other day. I believe euthanasia, that the physician administers the drugs that actually does cease life.
Okay.
And assisted suicide gives you a certain cocktail, but you, the individual,
you push the button.
Have to quote unquote push the button.
Okay.
Make it happen.
Okay.
So that's the divide between assisted suicide. The doctor provides those things, and you make the choice, and you actually
press the button,
commit to it.
Okay.
And versus euthanasia, it's done for you.
Got it.
So I misspoke earlier when say it's mostly with animals. I did hear that distinction.
All right, well,
which makes sense, right?
Yeah,
because one is
that,
murder, essentially, as it is, it's assisted murder. Murder is not the right word, but it is. It's compassion murder,
assisted ending of a life.
Yeah. So anyway, euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide has been reported in Central and Eastern Europe. Support is decreasing. In the United States, less than 20% of physicians reported having received requests for euthanasia or physician. What's you going to call it? Assisted suicide. And 5% or less have complied. So of the 20%,
wow,
only 5 have complied with it. So 15% of people didn't get theirs answered. So the doctor's making that choice for them.
And I'd like to know, of the 15%, how many went, okay, well, I tried, and then just go out and score some heroin or some whatever and just OD themselves and call it a day.
In Oregon and Washington State, Washington State, excuse me. There was no R in there.
Washington.
I'm going to go wash my clothes.
Oh.
Less than 1% of licensed physicians write prescriptions for physician-assisted suicide per year. In the Netherlands, Belgium, and about half or more of the physicians reporting have received the request. 60% of Dutch physicians have ever granted such requests. So only 60% of those that did get it in Netherlands. Wow. I just faded out there. I'm trying to read through my pop screen, and I'm doing one eye over here.
I'm watching
freaking, it's a little difficult.
We'll have video of that too.
Next time we'll print this stuff off. But
right.
So
I showed up with, as usual, no research.
So typical patients are older, white, and well-educated.
Okay.
Which kind of struck me as odd.
Why?
I don't know. It just seemed to jump out. Why older, white, educated people would...
I think it's more the older and the educated and less important about the white. I think it's just if you're educated and you're older, if you've lived your life and now you're sick and this is what you're facing, you may just want to go, fuck, I'm not putting everybody through that. That's just stupid. You know, I at least for me personally, I wouldn't want to sit and waste away. I'd be like, nope, not happening. I don't want people wiping my butt. I don't want people taking care of me. I don't want, none of that. And the option right now for me isn't there. If I were to get sick, it's just like, well, just go home and wither away and make everybody else deal with it.
Go to Vermont. It's pretty this time of year.
Or I could figure it out my own way, which is what I'm sure I would do. Like I said, Hunter S. Thompson didn't need a doctor. You don't need a doctor. It's just easier.
And I know you're agnostic, atheist, whatever you want to choose today. It's Sunday. Do whatever you want. But there's a callback, right? So if you have to talk to the son and say, hey, you ended your life, because in Christianity.
Okay, so you want me to play along? Okay.
Play along.
Okay.
So in Christianity, suicide is a mortal sin, right?
Yeah.
So would euthanasia kind of circumvent that, you think? I don't even know. I mean, I would have to get...
Yeah, you'd have to ask somebody who believes in that stuff. I don't know.
Well, I'm asking your opinion. Do you think that would be...
Fuck.
It sounds like a very...
I don't know the rules well enough.
It sounds like a very Catholic way of getting around a rule.
yeah, there's that.
And we all do it. I just pick on the Catholics.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question that I'm not equipped to answer.
And it seems like if you were to bring this up in, different company, some of those people might have a very strong opinion about it, and they happen to vote very strongly in this country.
Well, and that's just one more aspect of religion controlling things that have nothing to do with them.
It's people who happen to practice a religion controlling things.
Because,
right?
but they're controlling it on the basis of the religion, which has it shouldn't have any control or effect on me.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm good.
Just happens to be their moral compass.
Well, and I'm okay with them practicing that on their own, but why are you fucking with me?
Because we want you to go to heaven with us, Jay.
Oh, I'd rather be in hell.
Aren't we already?
Oh,
it's cold as hell.
It is.
Hell has frozen over.
Seems like
today.
hell will be where all the fun stuff happens.
Is that what?
I mean, to me,
that should be a title of a book. Hell, where all the fun stuff happens.
It just would make more sense.
It would.
Well, speaking of all the science, all the non-believing scientists are in hell. So I'm sure that they've invented AC by now down there. So, they probably got it cooled off a little bit. It's probably like a nice 85 degrees. Just sipping back, having some mojitos, whatever.
So who pays for that? What if you don't have the money to pay for it? Should that be on society?
You have medical insurance, don't you?
Not everybody does. No, not everybody does.
Well, what do we do with the sick people right now who don't have medical insurance?
We just keep paying and paying and paying for them to stay alive.
Okay, and if they don't want to stay alive anymore?
Right.
Wouldn't it be cheaper?
I mean, that's a terrible way to look at it, but yeah.
No, but
right.
I mean, just on that aspect of it alone, fuck it, it's cheaper.
I know. I was kind of setting you up for that when something you hadn't brought up, but, from a logistical, take ethics and everything else out of it.
But it still has to be that person's decision.
That's where it gets scary, man. It just gets scary to me. Like, give them any chance to write any kind of legislation that says a doctor can end your life. And I know you say it has if you choose. I get that, but it just seems that, oh man, you know what? People, and I'm not going to pick. I'm going to pick on the elderly. Some people can be.
Oh, they can't even fight, man.
I'm not that. I'm saying the elderly can be manipulated, probably more so than the general.
That's a fair statement.
Middle-aged public, right? And I mean, maybe it's kind of like a conspiracy theory kind of thing. And I just get a little wonky when you ever give the government the right to end somebody's life for whatever reason, even that they have to agree. I don't know. I get worried about that.
Yeah, you get the doom and gloom. They're going to just start knocking citizens
right?
down. Which
I mean,
we could do
before.
another episode about overpopulation and how maybe we could use some citizens knockdown. Not that I'm advocating for genocide or anything like that. I'm just saying that we are.
That's what war is
overpopulating. Yeah, right.
That is war is for.
I thought war was to decide which god wins.
You know what's interesting about overpopulation, and without looking it up, what do you think is the biggest contributor to our overpopulation of this world?
All the fucking.
You'd be wrong.
Really? It's not all the people having kids?
The birth rate per per person.
Oh, the people living longer?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
Which still, I mean, at some point somebody was doing the fucking.
They were, but the birth rate has stayed the same, and the infant mortality rate has dropped because of
that makes sense.
Medical and sanitation. Those are the two biggest causes of human longevity. Is sanitation. That's one of the biggest ones. Modern sanitation and medical advances.
So we haven't had a plague in a while, other than like Justin Bieber or things similar.
What a great plague that is.
Ugh.
But, so speaking of going to hell, a lot of Christians don't believe you should practice astrology.
We're back to this again this week. Oh, wait.
Oh, what?
I agree with Christians on something?
You do. See, you
Christians
didn't even know
don't
it.
think that you should practice astrology?
No, I mean,
I guess that makes
like
sense.
fortune telling and things like that. It's kind of, at least in my Baptist world that I grew up in, that was kind of a no-no.
All right. Well, yeah, but I knew a guy who once wasn't allowed to ride a skateboard because they thought it was the devil making it rise up into the air. So Baptists are fucking crazy.
I would say those people are just idiots. That's a whole different story. I've never heard that.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but then again,
I saw it. I saw it.
You can pick them all apart if you really want to, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
They all have a little bit of.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, a Book of Mormon though. We're jumping tracks. The Book of Mormon. You saw that play, didn't you?
No, I saw the movie. Oh, there's a Book of Eli. Never mind. Oops, wrong thing.
You haven't seen Book of Mormon?
No, I did not.
Oh my gosh.
I saw a Book of Mormon once. Is that the one that's in the hotel?
No,
hotel
you
drawer?
saw a Book of Mormon? Yeah,
is that what it is?
I mean,
yeah. So I've seen it.
No, that's
No.
They do have them in there too, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm just fucking with you. I knew that wasn't what you meant, but
yeah,
that's where I've
the
seen
Gideon Bible is usually the one that's in there. But I did see they had the Book of Mormon in the last hotel I was at. They had the Book of Mormon and the Gideon Bible, which I thought was interesting, and I meant to grab that the Book of Mormon and take it with me just for some show reference material, but I kind of forgot. So if anybody wants to send one, we'll send you an address and
we're gonna
send
get a
an
PO
email.
Box, won't we?
Yeah,
we'll
I might get a PO box.
Have to get a PO box.
But we could.
Jeez, people are gonna just start sending us ricin. Tired of hearing these two fuckers.
As long
talk.
as they send soy sauce too, it's fine.
No. All right, let's do my weekly torture.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm just gonna take again.
You're
It's
just
gonna be
gonna
very
take it.
vague. Hey, this week there's some challenge and you can rise above. And all right, let's go.
So I found one's a little more condensed here. So
good. Thank you.
You may be working hard on developing a new business, finishing a creative project, or seducing that special person who's one in a million. Whatever you're involved with, you'll want to give it your all. Your efforts are.
Last week when I said don't do anything. I'm sorry. I should have interrupted these.
Your efforts are building momentum, and soon you'll reap the rewards of your hard work. Even so, someone could have an imaginative suggestion on Monday that makes a positive difference in your plans. Friday could see you deciding on a key issue that you are taking things to the next level of development. The weekend very much about understanding your heart's desire and what you really want. With the supermoon and lunar eclipse in your spiritual sector on Sunday, you could become aware of a side of yourself that you've neglected. It's time to give it some attention.
Okay.
And that was for this week. So we kind of went back, did Friday. Could you see you deciding on key issues that could take things to the next level?
On Friday?
Yeah, on Friday.
I'm going to say it's not my horoscope because Friday I pretty much just smoked my vape pen and no marijuana and played video games. I was very laid back day on Friday. I think I got out of bed around noon, maybe 1. I don't know. No important things happen Friday. Unless you count video games as important, which I don't, other than being fun.
So the key issue you decided on was to do nothing. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So it's a big negative on that one so far.
Yeah, I gotta say that one can't. I mean,
We're doing a compare and contrast.
According to science,
so.
that can't be mine because nothing happened Friday that had any. There were no decisions to be made. I didn't really do anything.
Fair enough. Well, let's move on to the other one.
Let's.
You may be showing a positive face on the outside, but inside you might be pondering the deeper meaning of life. Key aspects of your social sector could be encouraging you to go out and take part in all kinds of community and group projects, and so you might benefit from a respite. Even so, with a major focus on your spiritual sector, this is time to deal with an ongoing issue. Rest assured that you don't have to do this alone. Reach out and ask for help, and you'll find others are willing to do as they can. A counselor or therapist would be a great blessing at this time. The sun moves into your sign on Sunday, and for around 4 weeks, there's also a supermoon. Sorry, I'll read that over. The sun moves into your sign on Sunday for about 4 weeks, and there is also a supermoon in your sector of relating to the same way. Perhaps you can no longer hide your attraction to this certain person. Man, I'm just butchering this.
Well, it's nonsense.
Yeah,
your
perhaps
your brain's probably going, no, none of this makes sense. Stop reading it.
Perhaps you can no longer hide your attraction to a certain person. It's also possible that an ongoing relationship will go through a gear change. Avoid making any snap decisions.
Oh, okay.
A or B?
I mean, it's got to be B because I didn't do anything Friday.
It's got to be 2.
So
B.
trying to make sure that astrology wins the day. If I pick A, it's wrong automatically because I didn't do anything Friday. So it has to be B.
So I changed this up a little bit this week.
Okay.
And randomly I was choosing which one to put against your Virgo-ness. This time I'm changing it and I read mine and read yours. So would you think either one of those two related to me more than you?
I don't know what you did this week.
Aside from Friday.
We barely talked.
Aside from Friday.
What do you mean?
I mean, does it even sound like which one sounds more like me would be my week? Any guess?
The first one?
Yeah, okay. Well, we'd be entirely incorrect.
Oh, shit. The first one was mine?
First one was yours, man.
What was my big decision on Friday?
I don't know.
It was seriously like,
trying to figure it out.
It was like, do I make pizza or do I just do pizza rolls?
See?
Because I was in a hurry.
And what'd you do?
I made pizza rolls. That was fucking,
I figured you'd order pizza.
No.
That would have been a big decision.
No, not this time. It was cold out. I don't like ordering pizza in inclement weather. It's rude.
I will say it's after reading mine. Again, it's a very general things. I think it could. Well, your argument is you can almost paint it to anybody.
Yes.
And you just kind of chose mine over yours as being more relative just because of the Friday thing, right?
That's it, because they got specific for a second. They were like, on Friday, this is going to happen. And I'm like, fuck you. You were so wrong.
You made a choice to go to work or not?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Then there's that.
No, I had nowhere to be Friday.
There you go.
I literally just, I woke
it must
up
be
Friday,
the Virgo in
and
you.
I had, what, that I just decided to lay around and do nothing all day? Yeah, it's the Virgo in me. I didn't do anything. I had a nice, relaxing day. I literally played video games all day long.
What kind of video games you play?
I played Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, a little pirate game. I'm a fucking pirate. I was a pirate all day
You
Friday.
are a pirate. Arr.
I think I pirated.
Got a lot of booty?
I think I did. We did well. It was a good good
I'm not
day.
a gamer, man. I kind of miss it, but I've never done computer games. The last computer game I did is
soul consuming.
Doom.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe SimCity. I take that back. SimCity.
I
was
love
a computer
SimCity.
game. I
That
did
was
too.
a good game.
I got another
I
question
played a lot of
for you.
Kerbal Space Program too. That game's awesome.
So let me ask you this, and we might have discussed this before. Do you think games like SimCity, I'm going to pick on SimCoaster, okay? SimCoaster particularly.
Never played it.
Okay, you can generally think of what it's right, right?
Yeah.
You build roller coasters.
Holy shit! I thought it was gonna be about assisted suicide.
Right? Exactly. So,
they should have that. They should have an assisted suicide sim. How great would that be? Like mix up your little.
It seems like it would
mix
end
up your-
prematurely.
Well played, sir. Well played. I like that.
Had to inject a little comedy there.
Oh, we're on the
We're going to be
puns. I
punning
love
on
it.
the
I
puns
love it.
today. It is Pun Day Sunday.
Okay, no, it's Pun Day Monday now.
Oh, is it?
When they're listening.
Oh, okay. This is true. So what we were talking about, SimCoaster.
Yes.
So it dawned on me. I used to play that game quite a bit. Loved it. Loved the hell out of it. When Cedar Point, a local amusement park near us, built the Top Thrill Dragster, a light bulb went off in my head and said, I built that game in Sim Coaster like 5 years ago.
You built that ride?
Very similar. I mean, you know, how fast could I get something to go, and how far up could I get it to go?
Oh, nice.
No, I'm sure, generally speaking, a better engineer than me probably thought of it.
I fucking hope so. People are getting on that ride.
But my point is, I wonder if that wasn't a crowdsourcing idea
to gather ideas and information.
Yeah, you know, you take this game, you see what everybody's building, and they're kind of running I mean, it's very basic simulators, but you can kind of take what seems to be the most popular. I'm sure people have created the same, very similar roller coaster that I did, and you take that and you put it in an algorithm, figure out what's the top 5, and then they actually put it into a real simulator and emulate it.
How to build it.
And emulate it. And so it's like, damn, we're doing their work for, and we're paying them for it.
But I mean, you're jumping to it. I mean that. You know, what are the chances that that's really what's happening? It's an interesting thought.
I don't know. I think the same thing with military games, like Call of Duty and those kind of games. I think the same thing. I think it's a military strategy.
That sounds like a whole other episode. I don't know. That seems like a lot of work.
What do you mean? What's a lot of work?
For them to write the algorithm, put the game out, promote the game, make the game. Well, it would be easier to sit around and design roller coasters.
Well, not really, because you get stagnant, right? I mean, you only have so many people that do this for a job. Yeah. And if you put it out to the general populace, you're going to have more, you know, creative, out-of-the-box thinking than people who are stuck in that mind frame.
Possibly.
Of,
But maybe you get an idea what the people would want, but who's going to do better at that game? You, me, or the guy who actually designs roller coasters for a living?
Depends what your motivation is. Are you talking about the most creative roller coaster, or are you talking about the most safe? Or, you know, I mean, I think they're getting the creative element from the creative
one. That sounds
and
dangerous.
then they build the safety into it. You know what I mean? The engineering part.
It's possible. It just seems like a lot of extra things.
It seems like you just hired a bunch of people for free.
Not for free. You made money. They bought the game.
Fair enough. They even made money. But
so you think on my pirate game? You think on my pirate game? They're like checking it out, like, ooh, how's this?
There's some Somalis sitting there going, "Oh, that's the captain." I don't know what a Somali accent sounds like. So
I don't think it's that.
I am your captain now.
That was that movie.
Yeah, that movie.
Yeah,
Somali captain movie.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. Tom Hanks is in it. Though.
I don't know, man. Every time he's on an ocean, it's just bad news.
Wilson.
That's right. I think the guy's name was Wilson, wasn't it? That would have been funnier.
That would have been. Oh, that'd have been great.
But.
All right,
we killed that.
Yeah, we've gone off the subject. We went off the rails, which is fine. We had fun with it. But I guess I still, you haven't swayed my mind at all. If I get sick, I'm taking myself out. End of story.
And I think ideally in a perfect world, I would like to think that that's there for us. We do make those choices with our animals.
Yeah.
And
why do we do that? Why do we do that?
Compassionate care.
Oh.
And I don't necessarily. And again, I don't necessarily agree with it because. And I've had to do it. So I've been there, I put myself through it, and I made the choice, and I hated it. And I still, I mean, I know it was the right, I kind of 90% know it was the right thing to do. I did it.
So, you know, you're showing, at this point, we're showing more compassion for animals.
But I think there was some compassion. It was probably from, if I had to be honest, it was probably more for me because I didn't know what to do any further. I didn't know how to take care of her any better.
But that's because she was deteriorating in health. She was sick beyond the point of having a comfortable life. She was in more pain. It's not like she was out running about, you know, frolicking in the backyard. No, you were like, you know what? I'm putting this dog down today because I have shit to do.
I could have gotten her dialysis, but I chose not to.
Dude, how much would that cost?
Okay, now we're getting to my point.
Well, that's different. It's a dog.
You're totally identifying my point now. That I said it wasn't entirely for her so much as it was possibly for me because I couldn't. I mean, I did everything I could to afford what was feasible, and honestly, the you know.
And you have to think, and this sounds heartless, and I'm a dog lover, and I own dogs, or I have dogs. I don't know if you say you own them. I don't know, but I love my dogs. But are you going to spend $10,000 to $15,000 on surgeries for your dog that's 14 years old so it can live another 6 months? No, you're not. Now,
tell that to Grandma.
I'm not.
Hey, Grandma. That hip surgery. And again, you're like 84, man. Like, what are you really gonna do? You ain't skydiving. Let's just go out back, Yeah, don't mind the gun.
So you've got don't mind the gun. Look at the flowers.
Listen, Yeller.
Look at the flowers.
Yep. Oh my God, what was that from? What was that from?
That was Walking Dead. Just look at the flowers. A badass scene.
Oh, it's terrible. Spoiler alert.
If you haven't caught up by now, you don't get. There's no spoiler. So, yeah. So you know, with people, if that option for treatment is out there, and I'm looking at it very personally. If the option for treatment is out there, and I feel like there's a chance, and I'm gonna make it, or even if it's a 10% chance, yeah, I want to take that chance. I'm saving this for when all other options are exhausted. When they just throw their hands up in the air and they go, "Hey, we've done everything we can do, nothing's responding," and then that happens every day. So it's not like it's a new thing.
And again, my position is I would love for it to be there, but I think we'd have to have a lot of safeguards in place. I know people are going to do it, but I just don't think society should commit to it and say it's okay because there's so many instances that it shouldn't be. I don't know. It's not. I know. As soon as I say it, it feels wrong.
Because it is okay. Hey, I'm done playing. See ya.
Gosh, I don't know. That just seems. It seems such a.
You're on the playground playing basketball with your friends, and you fall down and hurt your leg, and you're like, "All right, guys, I'm going home. I can't play anymore." It's just a bigger scale of that. You're playing the game of life, and you're having a good time, and then
there's
boom,
so many other
cancer.
connotations, though. I mean, you have. Leaving family behind, responsibilities. If you want to be like,
but you're gonna die in 6 months anyway.
No, I'm talking about just somebody who is in what we would say perfect physical health.
Well, that goes back to a different debate.
Again, that's what I'm saying. That there would have to be safeguards in place to not allow that to be part of it. But really, once you start opening up that conversation, that person who like you said, is done playing.
Yeah.
Why can't I then, Jay? Why? Why do
you
I
can.
have to?
No
live?
one's stopping you.
But why can't I have the same assisted suicide as that person does because they're terminally
It's not
ill?
what it's there for. For you, there is still treatment available. You can still go see somebody. You can still go see a psychiatrist. You can still work through your problems. It's not the end unless you choose it to be, which you shouldn't, because there's still more treatment.
Well, who are you to tell anybody that they should live?
I'm not.
Right?
I'm not telling them anything. I'm just saying that we're not going to help them because there's other help. There's other
as
avenues.
a society.
Yeah, as a doctor, as a society, or whatever.
I mean, essentially, that's what we're doing. If we're making it legal and allowing doctors to perform these things, that's what we're doing as a society. We're
terminally ill people.
No, I get that. No, I'm saying if we were, that would be a societal choice, not necessarily an individual choice, because we have changed our laws to allow for it.
Yeah. I just think it should be an option out there for people who have run out of alternatives. When the medical,
but not for the ones who are just done playing.
No. I think that it's basically for the terminally ill people. The other people will either get help that they need, or they're going to do whatever they're going to do.
So terminally ill, is there a timeline? Just curious, do you have like a timeline in your head?
Again, we already have a timeline. What?
I mean, if they say, you're going to die in 3 years.
But it's case by case. And again, it's you to the person. Once treatment options are off the table.
Okay. So that's your trigger.
Well,
it's going to take its course. It might be at 6 months, it might be 6 years, but there's nothing else we can do.
Sure. And at that point, that person should have now, if that's me and I can still get around and everything's, going okay and I can still function, I'm not going to choose to do it.
Maybe that's the best time to choose to do it.
No, I mean, I'm going to choose to have it done. I've already made the choice without the law. If I ever get terminally ill, I'm going to check out before I get too bad. Whether I have a doctor's help or not. That's just something in my head. I already know I
get that.
What I'm going to do. So I just think it'd be easier if we had the doctor's help available.
Even though you'd probably put your family in a bad position if you did it yourself?
No, I think I could figure it out.
Health insurance? Oh, I gotcha. I can read between the lines. Well, it's in the books now.
Well, they can't prove shit. They can't prove shit.
Shit. Then there's that. Well, Jay, you're arguably correct.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Now we'll see what the listeners think. And I can't say that
I completely agree or disagree with you. I'm wishy-washy at best.
Well, sometimes it's a difficult thing to pin yourself down on.
It is. And if you're just going to look at it cold and factually, I'm on that side.
Are you saying I'm heartless?
No, I mean without. You are a little heartless. So whatever you do, if you shoot yourself, don't shoot yourself in the heart. You'll miss.
Yeah. Like the fucking Grinch over here.
Kidding. Well, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jay.
And this has been Arguably Correct.
Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, be sure to check us out on Facebook. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the episode. put in your thoughts, and maybe we'll bring it back up at the end of another episode.
I want to do it. Or on Twitter at arguablyc.
That's perfect.
And nothing else.
And if you want to send us an email,
send it to arguablycorrectpodcast@gmail.com.
Absolutely perfect.
I started going into radio voice at the end of that. Send it to arguablycorrectpodcast@gmail.com.
I was trying not to do my stripper voice, but it's just about the same thing.
Up to the stage next.
It's candy. Why is it always candy?